Surrey for like 2 games, which a lot of the times he loses those 2 games, then pulls out the great sword and gets the reverse 3. So we'll see if Kixe sticks with that of starting with the Asuri, and it's going to be the starting Asuri for this game. You see the schedule up at the top: QA versus QS versus Kixe, then Swada versus Heisen, Simple versus who, and then Acno versus Blaze.
What you say? Like you have an idea. It's either the winner of QS or Kixe. We'll find out in just a little bit. But like you said, we're going in the top 8 elimination matches. Kixe on the Asuri to start this one. It's like his palate cleanser, right? He needs to start it off. He needs to warm up with the Asuri, and then when it gets rough, he goes over to the Jae-Yun.
So he needs to start it off and lose 2 games? Yeah. That's not a palate cleanser, bro.
Well, I mean, it's a palate cleanser from the previous set.
Just like carry over your Jae-Yun and win games. He's starting off pretty strong here.
Ooh, just barely missed that down air though, and QS gonna finally pick up the great sword. This is that critical weapon. Usually when you're playing this Jae-Yun, that's what you're looking for. Sword's just a nice comfort weapon, can't go wrong, but great sword is what you're looking for.
And QS has the Collector's Edition Greatsword skin, a man of culture.
He doesn't have a fancy skin on his Jae-Yun though. Gonna fault him a little bit on the style points there.
Maybe he's just a default Andy. As another weapon spawn comes in, but he side heavies, still able to get to the weapon spawn.
I mean, side heavy does have a little bit more force on it than like if he had picked up a great sword. It's gonna be the pocket sand though to take the first stock off of Kixe.
That's sort of the biggest reason to play sword. Just regular sword on Jae-Yun is gonna be for that sand.
It's really strong. The neutral signature also really good. Don't see a lot of the down signature. That step back can be effective, but it's a little bit more situational than the other two.
Yeah, you're right. We did see quite a bit of the neutral signature coming out from Acno earlier. He was carrying players to the sky with it.
Oh, but a nice recovery from Kixe. Going to go very high and then throw that weapon up. Wants to keep it active again, just kind of delaying that next weapon spawn. But Kixe's got to get something big here with these Katars, and he misses the side light. QS gives him a second opportunity. Downlight's coming out, but QS finds the greatsword.
Now, Kixe did spot dodge through the first move, but out came the bridge and out came the closer from QS, putting out a ton of damage here.
Jeez. He's doing such a good job of resetting, dashing in different directions to make sure that he's staying in those openers and bridges so that he's not overcommitting into those closers, which have higher recovery on him. Neutral Sig going to connect onto Kixe, almost gets the knockout, but second one will do it.
I think that neutral signature has like probably the coolest effects on it in the entire game. It looks so cool. Even though it's just like it's earth and rocks getting kicked up, it's still the coolest looking signature in the entire game.
I mean, have you seen the Walker hands on Michonne's bow down sig? Just saying.
Nah, man. For a default
okay,
sig animation
for
loadout,
default, those are pretty sick.
It's insane. So good. Kixe finds the recovery there for the KO off the top.
Ooh. Awkward though. Kind of charged it and was just falling. So ended up not really amounting to much there. But nice guitar string. Gonna even up this damage. QS with the neutral light.
Still gonna be a couple more hits before QS is in orange. Kixe already in orange. QS kind of staying far away from him. Doesn't want Kixe to get on top of him, throwing out those neutral lights, pull him into the half pipe, that blender, whatever you want to call it, with those whirling blades. Oh, spot dodge. Didn't even really need the dodge, but it still came out, and you saw Kixe immediately go in with the down air. Weapon toss goes down. QS is high. Swap over to the sword.
Damage pretty even between the two of them. Neither of them in a position to go for the downlight recovery straight, and there you're seeing QS go for the downlight neutral airs, pocket sand, and Kixe's just above it. Closed his eyes to avoid it, and then the side sig catches QS on the side swap, and that's going to be Kixe taking game number 1.
Good read there from QS, but why did he go for D-Light Nair? He's crazy for that. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that was... Okay, so he didn't have the damage for a straight D-Light recovery.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the answer is, okay, then I'll just do D-Light Dare recovery.
Yeah. So
I guess
not
he was
sure.
just kind of nervous. Like, with the Nair, if you don't have jumps, that's when you can do it. Like, if you do like a gravity cancel, you're out of jumps, you do gravity cancel downlight, and then you go straight for the Nair. But that wasn't that situation.
Because like the Nair is going to hit him high for possible juggle opportunities, but not that high to KO. The recovery is going to have more damage on it, which has the possibility to KO. It likely wouldn't have KO'd there, but it's still going to send Kixe really high in the air for more juggle opportunities. So interesting choice from QS there. We'll never know what was going through his brain, but I'm going to ask him after this. So we might know what's going through his brain.
Much like how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, the world may never know. But meanwhile, Kixe knows that the Asuri kind of working. Sticking with the Asuri here in game number 2. Over to Demon Island, QS gets the opener bridge and decides to dash back, expecting Kixe to panic dodge in. Kixe is not going to do it just yet.
Most of QS's initiations early on in the game were the side lights, saw a couple down lights. Throwing out some more neutral lights, though, as we're seeing Kixe in the air a lot. Ooh, that was an interesting option.
I like that ground pound.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Ooh, didn't hit the down bridge. Kixe able to jump out of that one.
Oh, QS was looking for the recovery. It's crazy that you can pick up grounded opponents with that recovery. I think that's might have been what Kixe was going for, is if, or what QS was going for. If Kixe goes a little bit high, he's going to pick him up with that recovery. If he goes back to the main platform, he can still possibly catch him with that recovery, depending on the timing of it.
Yeah, that grounded recovery can be really good for knockouts. There's kind of a 50-50 you can do with neutral light, and then you do, I think it's a dash jump into the recovery, and if you decide to go out or in, then you can catch them very often on their dodge and get knockouts.
Take the second swipe of the neutral light there. Gonna hit onto Kixe. Great sword coming in, neutral sig coming out, recovery coming out. QS definitely behind in this game. Still hasn't found the KO move that he needs. You're seeing recoveries coming out, signatures coming out. Oh man! Isn't able to hit the neutral light finisher.
QS goes deep with the ground pound. Kixe goes deeper. But that kind of shows how close they were to the KO box. That Kixe went for a side air. Unfortunately, the side air kind of dragged down a little bit, and that's how Kixe fell.
That side air almost hit QS, though.
Yeah,
that was so close to hitting QS, and the fact that it was so far down there, and a little bit of love that Qatar side air got recently, that for sure would have been a KO. That would have been really bad for QS.
I mean, still not looking great for QS as Kixe gets the recovery, puts QS in the red. Spot dodge will avoid the falling Nair, but Kixe just needs a downlight into the recovery and could get the stock advantage again.
Weapon toss goes just over QS's head. Weapon control is in Kixe's favor. Tarzan unarmed, finds the slap to finish it up. In a really good spot here. Not even really halfway through this second stock.
Yo, that palate cleanser. It's a really good palate cleanser.
I guess it was.
It's like that yogurt at the end of a KBBQ meal, right? It's like, sometimes I kind of just want more of this yogurt.
I feel like that's not a palate cleanser. Like, they may say it's a palate cleanser, but like, you don't cleanse your palate with something that tastes like a mango or whatever. That's crazy.
I do now. Nice recovery, and the follow-up neutral air will even up the stock count, though, for QS. He's back to the greatsword. This has the highest potential of bringing him back into this one and stealing this game away, but Kixe knows that all he has to do is get in on QS, denies the weapon, and the neutral light, the weapon toss extra. And that is gonna be game number 2, going the way of Kixe.
You don't cleanse your palate with dessert. Like, you're not gonna have a slice of cake. But something that is going to be sweet is Kixe now up 2 games against QS. Are we going to see a character swap from QS? It is going to be a character swap over to the level 85 Hattori.
I think this is the Daiku curse coming in. He's saying, like, not a lot of people are going to be playing Greatsword in top 8, and if they do, then they're going to be forced to swap off. It's very interesting to see, because QS very clearly was trying to go for the meta play, going to that J Yun, and Kixe is like shutting that down.
Really thinking hard about the stage pick. Small Brawlhaven, small Mammoth Fortress, and the Dome left up for Kixe to pick from. Coming in a level 50 Asuri, putting a little bit more in strength, going from 4 to 5. Meanwhile, we're seeing a 4 to 5, but it's on the defense side of things for QS.
And here we go. Game number 3, QS versus Kixe. And I think to your previous point, if QS wins the next 2 games with the Hattori, will Kixe make the swap over to the J Yun and kind of just level up? Or will we see QS shutting it down or just getting shut out completely? I don't know. Nice double neutralite to start off game number 3, though.
I'm really curious. I'm curious what happens even after 1 victory, because we could see Kixe immediately swap off of that because he hasn't played Greatsword into this Hattori pick. Maybe he just hates the mirror and the Asuri pick is working for him so far, but if he loses this game, he could immediately go into the J Yun to play Greatsword into the Hattori pick.
Yeah, if game, like just going back to the start of this set, I was half expecting like if QS won game 1 that Kixe would have made the immediate swap. But right now Kixe stuck on this wall, the soft platform, trying to help out Kixe. You saw him jumping really high, hoping that he could land on that soft platform, but actually just did not have the height for it.
Just some clean unarmed play from Kixe, bringing it out, securing that KO. Still in a pretty good spot. Now QS is going to be the one unarmed. Not likely that he'll be able to clean it up. The double weapon toss. There's a third weapon toss that comes out from Kixe. Now they were in the same boat, both being unarmed, but QS is going to hit that neutral send Kixe away. So Kixe is going to be unarmed for even longer. Side air almost making contact. The recovery does, but it was too low to take off the top. That recovery will be the KO option, going from the spear recovery to the sword recovery, all the way to get that stock.
QS able to even this one up. Kixe with the guitars in hand. It's a falling neutral air. Not seeing those big guitar strings. We've seen Kixe get a couple of good reads on the like dodge down punishes, but so far haven't been seeing very extended things. Instead, it's just been like 1 or 2 brief moments of guitar burst.
And QS has also been finding mostly 1 hits, but also like just 2 hits back to back. So they're still going basically even so far. I think QS is a little bit further behind. Neutralite into the weapon toss. QS backing up, expecting an immediate attack from Kixe. The gravity cancel side signature. He pulls out of that one pretty early.
Ooh, went for the panic jump read, went for that neutral signature, but Kixe went low. And QS starting to throw out a lot of signatures. He wants to finish the stock off of Kixe, but Kixe is just playing smart around it.
Delay recovery not going to be enough. Now Kixe's might KO just because he put 1 more into strength. That neutralite sending QS off screen. Weapon toss going out. Kixe's looking for another unarmed KO option, even though there were 2 weapon spawns on the field. Interesting choice from him. QS, oh, that's going to be a punish. He's done. Oh, that's so brutal.
That's rough. When you saw him stop the momentum, right? Like he was not moving forward on that down zig. He's like, oh no, I'm kind of stuck here. But Kixe is pretty damaged. QS with the side sig will even this up again, but QS is he's just that much behind behind Kixe. Kixe has been getting these stocks first.
QS going to control the weapons here. Kind of a sus weapon throw all the way to the left side, but he picks up the spear anyway.
You call him an imposter?
I mean, that's not a normal top player throw, so maybe he is an imposter here.
Didn't go to lights. Nice little side air. Kixe with a weapon toss of his own. That's a standard weapon toss. That's a task weapon toss right there. And QS with the sword in hand. Not able to hit that neutral air, though.
Back-to-back nairs coming out from QS. Juggling a little bit, but Kixe gets down. Oh, man. Kixe's juggling him just above the ground with those D-lights. Already found like 3 of them so far. The neutral light going to send Kixe back. The weapon toss is going to hit, but he's not going to get the initiation after that. The follow-up that he wanted. Another neutral light from QS. A D-light recovery. Not quite enough yet. Still going to have his pick of the litter for weapons.
but Kixe having that stage control, the neutral light, puts QS off stage, but he gets a nice side air. One more hit, but he goes for the safe option with the weapon toss, and it does not connect. Kixe gonna get back onto the stage. The neutral light, again, safe options coming out from QS. The side air, and QS gonna barely hold on.
I do want to commend that gravity cancel D-Light that Kixe threw out, because that's still going to pick up a grounded opponent. It might pick up a little bit of an aerial opponent, but if QS wanted to go for his own D-Light there to punish, he would have to gravity cancel it as well. Throwing one out just on the ground, Kixe was over it. It wasn't going to hit him. So that was a great option from Kixe. Unfortunately for him, it didn't hit, and so QS is going to fight his way back into this, and the character picks are remaining the same. I don't think this is a bad choice for Kixe at all, even though he does have the greatsword in his back pocket. You saw how close last game was. One hit here or there could have dramatically changed the ending of that game. So it may be only after 2 losses again, like we've seen from Kixe, that's when he makes the choice to go to greatsword.
Yeah, Kixe looking real good with his Asuri. We're about to hop into game number 4 on Small Mammoth. And here we are, Kixe sticking with the Asuri. I also agree. To your point, I agree with that gravity cancel downlight. It's a thing that a lot of sword players and hammer players like to do, is kind of that like half jump height gravity cancel downlight, because it's a combo starter and because you get a little bit more kind of vertical space with it. Can be a very good tool. As QS has the weapon control.
Yeah, he's juggling those weapons really early on in the game, so that might be a focus from him going forward. Kixe still is able to grab that weapon about 14 to 15 seconds into the game. It's going to be a sword. He's finding damage on it. QS has nothing so far.
No.
Even the neutral signature, that's an orange KO. Now, if you go back to the previous damage that we saw in last game, QS was in like 668. Kixe was like mid-500s. They were both last stock red at the end of the game. So QS is not as efficient as Kixe is on finding those stocks, and you see it perfectly denoted right in front of your eyes just a few moments ago, that neutral signature KO in QS in orange.
Yeah, Kixe in a very good position to close out this set and move on into the losers quarterfinal. Meanwhile, QS getting a little bit of damage built up here, has the punish opportunity, but whiffs the downlight, and Kixe gonna capitalize on that one, getting more damage onto QS's second stock.
Oh, the D-Light ground pound, another orange KO!
Gone. Kixe is taking these stocks off of QS.
After that neutral light, he is finally in red on his first stock after a minute and a half.
No.
He just got a yellow KO!
Like this.
322 damage! That's all it took!
3 stocking in game number 4. Kixe gonna close it out over QS. Complete destruction. Didn't even need to bring out the J-Yun. And that means Kixe moves on to fight Simple in the losers quarterfinal.
Kixe averaging in that final game 107 1/3 damage points per stock. That is unheard of. That is absolutely insane.
That's so brutal. And with that, we move on up to the losers quarterfinal match of Hyson versus Swada. We saw Hyson bringing out a couple of different orb characters. He had the Thor, he had the Petra. I wanted to see the core. We might see the core.